Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai MM, come to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu reaffirms oath to serve fairly. Akwa Ibom State government dissolves Ethical and Attitudinal Reorientation Commission. Plus, North Korea's Kim arrives in Beijing ahead of military parade. We'll bring you the details of this story shortly. Stay with us. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We begin this afternoon from the national scene where President Bola Tinubu has said that distributions of federal projects are not skewed in favor of any of the 6 geopolitical zones. The president, who reaffirmed his commitment to serve all Nigerians equitably, also dismissed claims that his administration has disproportionately favored the South in the distribution of federal projects. Attributing the claim to some northern opposition figures, the president countered the allegations by releasing an infographic showing that northern sub-regions have received the bulk of federal projects and budgets under his administration, highlighting ongoing infrastructure investment. Tinubu pointed to the Lagos-Calabar Highway in the south, the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway in the north, the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Rail in the east, and the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway in the center, as well as the Trans-Saharan Highway linking Nigeria with neighboring countries. He also listed the rehabilitation of health centers nationwide, approval for light rail projects in Kano, Kaduna, Lagos and Ogun, the revival of the 255 megawatts Kaduna power plant, construction of bridges in Onitsha and Boni, the expansion of oil exploration in Bauchi and Gombe, and progress on the AKK gas pipeline as some of his administration's projects. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has described Vice President Kashim Shettima as a loyal deputy, dependable partner, and an embodiment of service-driven leadership. In a personal tribute to celebrate the Vice President on his 56th birthday, President Tinubu lauded Shettima's courage, tenacity, and commitment to Nigeria's progress. He noted that his choice of Shettima as Vice President has proven to be one of his most rewarding decisions. The President further applauded Shettima's contributions in advancing the renewed hope agenda, citing his involvement in forging new global partnerships and driving reforms on food security and investment. He stressed that Shettima's fresh perspectives and unwavering support have strengthened the administration's work and reassured Nigerians of its commitment to development. Away from that, the federal government has unveiled 2 key documents to guide the integration of evidence-based traditional medicine into Nigeria's health system. The government said the strategic plan of action for implementing the traditional medicine policy, along with the code of ethics and practice for traditional medicine practitioners, is designed to sanitize the sector, enhance its effectiveness, and position for global recognition and competitiveness. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Ishaq Salako, unveiled the documents at the commemoration of the 2025 African Traditional Medicines Day in Abuja. The minister said the initiative aligns with President Bola Tinubu's administration's resolve to promote research-driven traditional medicine and expand its role in healthcare delivery. Meanwhile, the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, has said that the federal government will empower 7 million young Nigerians with digital and professional skills in the next 2 years. The minister said this would lead to the creation of millions of jobs. Olawande announced this at the Strategic Youth Leadership Conference 2025, organized by his ministry in collaboration with the National Defense College (NDC) to equip young Nigerians with contemporary knowledge in digital and professional education. The minister described the conference as a strategic thinking and leadership tool to become proactive agents of national development. He assured the participants that the Bola Tinubu administration is set to position Nigerians in the global challenge of digital literacy by ensuring effective youth participation in the global digital economy and outlining key strategies for youth development under the renewed hope agenda. In a separate development, the special advisor to the President, Bola Tinubu, on information and strategy, by Onanuga, has said the economic reforms introduced by his principal are restoring confidence in the naira both locally and internationally. Onanuga was reacting to a report that some Chinese traders have begun accepting naira in place of the United States dollar for transactions with Nigerian customers. The special advisor, in a post via his X handle, stated that the development shows that the currency is gaining recognition beyond Nigeria. Citing his own experience on Chinese e-commerce platforms, he maintained that the progress being recorded shows that the government's economic policies are yielding results. On the home front, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Warner has reaffirmed his commitment to maintaining a people-centric governance structure devoid of godfatherism. Governor Warner, who stated this while fielding questions from Government House correspondents, said every Akwa Ibom citizen has equal access to the government portal for grants provided by his administration. The governor further said that his administration's empowerment scheme for 2026, with a budget of 31 billion naira, would accommodate more interested persons, including members of support groups, and cover different categories of grants, including the Farmers Grant, Traders Grant, SMEs Grant, and Skills Acquisition Grant. According to him, the idea is to stimulate the local economy, hence the reason he is putting 1 billion naira in the budget for each local government area in the 2026 appropriation bill. The governor disclosed that when the time comes, the portal will be opened and each local government will access the 1 billion naira on an individual basis, stressing that the grants will be given to people based on their local government of origin and not where their businesses are located. He explained that before the grants are released to the beneficiaries, they have to be enrolled at the Ibom Leadership and Entrepreneurial Development Center for a refresher course in their chosen area of business, reiterating that government will validate all locations of the businesses before release of funds. He stressed that government would not give money to any group leader in order to ensure proper accountability and transparency. He explained that support groups are social groups that volunteer to support a candidate whom they believe will provide good services, ensure accountability and transparency. According to the governor, he was elected to cater for the entire people of Akwa Ibom State, not individual groups, adding that in as much as he truly appreciates the groups for their support, he is committed to serving the generality of Akwa Ibom people. Government House correspondent Jane Noah reports that the state leader further stressed that no particular group or groups will have an exclusive right to the programs, as the programs are for every Akwa Ibom indigene, irrespective of their social status. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Mobasieno has approved the dissolution of Ethical and Attitudinal Reorientation Commission with immediate effect. A release signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Enobongwa, says the government expressed its appreciation to the chairman and members of the commission and wished them success in their future endeavors. According to the chairman, the Accordingly, I beg your pardon, the chairman is directed to hand over to the Director of Administration and Supplies in the Commission before disengagement. And now to the continent of Africa. The president of Ghana has said that he fired the West African country's Chief Justice after an investigation found her guilty of alleged abuse of office. Gertrude Araba Esaba Sake, 61, the third woman to head Ghana's High Court, was suspended from the post, which she assumed in 2023 after several complaints were lodged against her. President John Mahama established a 5-member commission led by another Supreme Court judge to investigate the complaints, which included allegations of falsifying judicial records and misusing public funds. The commission found that the grounds for the alleged acts had been established and recommended her removal from the office. However, it was not immediately clear whether Tokunu would face any criminal charges. On the foreign scene, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has arrived in the Chinese capital Beijing, where he will be attending a military parade. The Victory Day parade on Wednesday will see Kim rub shoulders with China's President Xi Jinping, Russia's Vladimir Putin, and other world leaders, making it his first multilateral international meeting. Kim crossed into China today on board his armored train. His attendance marks the first time a North Korean leader has attended a Chinese military parade since 1959. Still on the foreign scene, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have kicked off bilateral talks in Beijing. Putin held relations between the countries, saying they were at an unprecedented level. Xi told Putin that China-Russia relations have withstood the test of international changes, adding that Beijing was willing to work with Moscow to promote the construction of a more just and reasonable global governance system. The meeting comes at a time when Xi seeks to project Beijing's power on the international stage, not just as the world's second-largest economy, but also as a diplomatic heavyweight. Recall that Xi is set to host China's largest ever military parade on Wednesday, which will mark the 80th anniversary of the surrender of the Japanese in China at the end of World War II. Still to come in the news. Sevilla terminates Super Eagles forward Iheanacho's contract. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. To conclude the news on this hour, in business, the federal government through the Debt Management Office DMO is offering investors annual yields of up to 16.5% on its September 2025 federal government savings bonds. The DMO, in a circular on its website, announced that the subscription window opens immediately and will close on Friday, September the 5th, 2025, with settlements scheduled for September 10, 2025. Coupon payments will be made quarterly on March 10, June 10, September 10, and December 10, and will be paid directly to investors. The DMO offered investors two subscription categories of the federal government savings bond, which include a 2-year bond, which will mature on September 10, 2027, and attract an annual interest rate of 15.5%, and a 3-year bond set to mature on September 10, 2028, with a higher annual interest rate of 16.5%. Still in business, the Nigerian currency naira strengthened by 0.36% yesterday to 1,526 naira per dollar from 1,531 naira per dollar at the previous trading session, indicating a strong start to the new week and a month. According to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria website, this is the strongest rate that the naira has traded in about 6 weeks on the Nigerian foreign exchange market. The naira performed better at the parallel market as Cardinal Stone research revealed that it gained 1.22% to settle at 1,527 naira per dollar, thus eliminating any need for speculative activities. On our health news, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) has issued a fresh 10-day ultimatum to the federal government and other relevant authorities, warning of an imminent nationwide strike if its outstanding demands are not addressed. The resolution was contained in a communique signed by NARD President Dr. Tokbe Osundara, General Secretary Dr. Oluwashola Odunbaku, and Publicity and Social Secretary Dr. Omoha Amobi, following an extraordinary National Executive Council (ENEC) meeting held virtually. The association recalled that it had earlier given a 3-week ultimatum in July before extending the deadline by another 3 weeks to allow for further dialogue with stakeholders. However, it expressed disappointment that the government has yet to fulfill its promises. According to NARD, many resident doctors are still unpaid for the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund (MRTF). It also decried the failure to settle 5 months arrears from the 25-35% Consolidated Medical Salary Structure (CONMES) review, along with other long-standing salary arrears, among others. Meanwhile, the communique stressed that all state governors must prioritize the welfare of doctors to curb immigration and ensure industrial harmony in the health sector. Still in health experts have warned that persistent weakness and severe difficulty in breathing may be early warning signs of heart failure. According to them, the disorder can present itself suddenly or evolve gradually over time, leaving many people unaware of its progression until it begins to disrupt their daily activities. They noted that while some people may experience abrupt episodes of breathlessness, others first notice simple fatigue and struggle to carry out routine tasks. Speaking on other causes of heart failure, the cardiologist listed dilated cardiomyopathy, rheumatic heart disease, peripartum cardiomyopathy, coronary artery disease, myocarditis, and cardiac tamponade. They said while some of these conditions are genetic or pregnancy related, others stem from infections or lifestyle related factors, stressing that ignoring these signs could be dangerous. Now to sports news. Spanish club Sevilla have terminated the contract of Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho. Iheanacho joined the Roji Blancos on a free transfer last summer. The 28-year-old made 15 appearances across all competitions in the first half of the season, netting 3 times. The former Manchester City player was sent out on loan to Sky Bet Championship club Middlesbrough in January. He scored once and provided 2 assists in 15 appearances for Middlesbrough. Still in sports, Rwanda head coach Adel Amoriche has named a final 24-man squad for the side's 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Nigeria and Zimbabwe. Amoriche unveiled the 27-man provisional squad for both games last week. 3 players, Claudie Smith, Jabuli Eshimwe, and David Neo, were left out of the squad. 20 players departed Kilgali International Airport for Lagos today. They will connect a flight to Uyo later tonight. Amoriche's side will be up against the Super Eagles in a matchday 7 encounter at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, on Saturday. On entertainment news, Nigerian skit maker and content creator Raji Samad Detola, popularly known as Mr. Sanku Comedy, is dead. Reports say Sanku was involved in a ghastly car accident along the Oyo-Gbomosho Road in Ibadan yesterday. Sanku, who was riding in the car alongside his friend, was rushed to the hospital. They were reportedly pronounced dead few hours later. And that's all we have on this news bulletin. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai Imam. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.